This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the CEO of Golden Cross Resources, a new story to our audience. Happy to have with me Mr. Matthew Roma. Matt, it's great to have you on. How are you?
I'm very well, Gerardo. Thank you very much for hosting this.
Well, listen, I love introducing stories to our audience when there's actually something to talk about. And in the case of Golden Cross, there is a lot to talk about. I have to commend you on your timing. You just commenced a drilling program that is a major catalyst. Gold is flirting with $3,400. Silver's broken out above 35. Looks like it wants to go to 40. And you happen to be neighbors with a company that our audience is very familiar with, Southern Cross Gold Consolidated, which has one of the, if not the most exciting gold discoveries in recent memory. That's $1.5 billion company now. It's got a shareholder registry that's top notch. You happen to be, when I say neighbors, I mean like the next house over, if we want to use the neighborhood analog. You have a tiny market cap. I want to start with you and your background and the team, but then let's talk about how you go from the current market cap, which is in the tens of millions of dollars, to maybe closing that valuation gap and what you're going to have to prove in order to get there. But first and foremost, a bit about your background, a bit about Golden Cross.
Yeah, absolutely, Gerardo. So Golden Cross is a brand new story. We listed right at the end of April on the TSX Venture Exchange. I am the CEO of the company. I'm also a director. I've been in this business for a very long time. I most recently and most notably was with Snowline Gold, the original CFO of the company. And that went from, a similar market cap where we are today at Golden Cross to, 1.4 billion, I believe the company's capped at now. I recently stepped down from my position as CFO there to run Golden Cross. I feel like we're in a fantastic area. And as you mentioned, with a fantastic neighbor. And on the board with myself is Daryl Carty. He was a co-founder of K92, co-founder of Underworld, co-founder of Northern Empire, all big acquisitions in the gold space, and also Nick Rowley, who is an Australian resident and was head of corporate development for Galaxy Resources when they merged with Alchem, forming a $6 billion company. So all individuals that have been in this space have made discoveries, have been able to transact, and we're starting this at the ground floor and looking to build shareholder value here.
And again, you talked about a team that knows how to monetize assets. That means finding them, advancing them, and selling them, right? And so
Exactly.
Where's your market cap right now?
I think as market open today, which is it is June 5th, I think we're capped at about $23 million. We listed this company at about an $8 million cap. So yeah, we feel like we've got lots of room to grow. And as you mentioned, this team has done it before and has proven that they're, strong custodians of capital. And yeah, we're out here to build shareholder value in my opinion, one of the best gold jurisdictions around.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about Reedy Creek. It's a high-grade gold project. It's right, again, literally right next to Sunday Creek. And look, it's early days, but you have historic drilling. You have 11 meters of 31.4 grams per ton gold before. You have 2 meters of 174 grams per ton gold. So you're not flying into this thing completely blind, right? The
No, not at
jurisdiction,
all.
of course, is absolutely top-notch. Tell me about the project. Tell me how you ended up with the project, because I know behind the scenes, and I won't say any names, but I know behind the scenes, there was a lot of back and forth trying to acquire the
Yes.
project because of the proximity to Sunday Creek, because of the rocks, because of the location, clearly.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. So first and foremost, I think, we got very lucky with timing. We started negotiating this deal about almost a year ago. Gold was trading at, just north of $2,000. Southern Cross was capped at, I think, around 300 million market cap at that point. They were only listed in Australia, fairly an unknown story here in North America. And then by the time we actually signed the agreement with Great Pacific Gold, which we acquired the project from, Southern Cross was a $500 million million market cap,
Yeah.
still only in Australia, still fairly unknown in North America. Fast forward to when we started trading, they hit $1 billion. They just raised 160 million. They've made a fantastic discovery, and you know, everything just lined up nicely for us, really. You know, we had a ton of demand for the financing that we did. You know, we're heavily oversubscribed, and yeah, you know, we feel that we have very similar geology to Sunday Creek. We have very similar geology to the Costerfield mine to the north, to the Fosterville mine to the north. You know, these high grade veins with this low halo gold in between. You know, that's what we're looking to get onto, and you know, that's why Sunday Creek has been such a success story. And yeah, as you mentioned earlier, we announced yesterday a 6,000 meter drill campaign. I think as of last night, we're into hole 3. So yeah,
Nice.
it's you know, we listed in April and we're, you know, drilling a month later.
Tell me about testing the ladder. That's the
Yes,
approach, right?
yeah,
That's what that's
that's the
the
turning point. Yeah,
methodical way. Yeah, absolutely.
absolutely. So
Explain to the audience about that.
yeah, so kudos to Mike Hudson and the team at Southern Cross. They've really introduced this ladder methodology where you know, these high grade veins are spaced, you know, 40 to 50, 60 meters apart. And in between those ladders is this low halo gold. So really the initial drilling is to intersect the ladders, you know, at near surface, get an understanding of the grade and the geometry of the veins, and then step back and drill a deeper but more narrow hole. You're intersecting multiple veins at once, these high grade veins, and being able to report these, you know, extremely long intercepts at, you know, fantastic grade. And when that methodology really was put out there by Southern Cross, it really was the turning point, and you know, shot up their market cap. It really opened everyone's eyes to, you know, the type of grade in these systems,
Yeah.
and you know, the ultimate economics, and you know, in a bulk tonnage situation, you know, how fantastic these deposits can be.
Tell me about your target. You mentioned, you know, bulk tonnage, but also grade. And the one thing that Southern Cross and Sunday Creek has in spades is grade, right? You just don't see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're
No,
about to announce a resource estimate. And I think they're targeting a grade of like 10 grams a ton, right? You
that's
just
right.
don't
Yeah, I
see.
think 10.6 grams per ton is, I think, their resource forecast right now. You know, 3.6 million ounces, if I'm correct. You know,
Yeah.
at 10.6 grams per ton, like just a fantastic deposit. So yeah, the grades are extremely high here, and as you get deeper, the grades just continue to pick up. So you know, if you can get onto these high grade veins, which really the proxy for Sunday Creek, and why they explored there was these old workings from back in the
Yeah.
late 1800s, where you know, the old timers would get in there with their, you know, lack of technology, but you know, equipment, and they would dig these high grade veins, and you know, if they were onto it, they would keep digging, and if not, they'd move on. And I believe there was about 6 old workings at the surface of Sunday Creek, and that's why they started drilling underneath, and you know, results speak for themselves. So what we've done is we've flown LiDAR over our entire project, and picked up all of these old gold workings. So, you know, it's all this surface work that you would normally do. Well, the LiDAR has done it for us. So we can see where all these old workings are. And across the project to date, we've identified basically, you know, keeping with the ladder methodology, about 55 different ladders. And for perspective, Sunday Creek is the equivalent of 2 ladders, 600 meters each. A total of 1,400 meters is basically a Sunday Creek, you know, current deposit. And what we've done is we've layered over these ladders using LiDAR, and one of our slides in our deck does a fantastic job of showing the true blue sky of the project. But if you take that ladder methodology, we've identified 55 ladders across our project so far, with the highest concentration at Reedy Creek, which is the initial focus of our drilling. So you know, we've announced a 6,000 meter drill campaign. The first 2,000 meters is to test 3 ladders within Sunday Creek with the highest concentration of those old gold workings, and we expect results, you know, early August, and hopefully, you know, steady news flow throughout the rest of the year. We're drilling with 1 rig right now. We'll go to 2 in September, and we'll basically, the 6,000 meters will take us, you know, right before Christmas.
Excellent. How's the share structure? Who owns the shares? How does that
Yeah.
look?
Yeah, so we've got about 60 million shares outstanding. We raised 4.7 million dollars at 15 cents no warrant. About 33% of the company is owned by insiders. 7% is owned by Great Pacific, the company that we acquired the project from. And then there's about 50% retail, and the remaining is institutionally held.
It's a good structure. There's a lot writing on this program. I love that you got right to deploying capital into the drill bit, into the ground. And I said this to you off air when we chatted prior to this conversation. You either have it or you don't. You're going to have to prove that you have it. But if you prove that you have it, that 20-something million dollar market cap is going to be triple digits really, really quick. And look, I get excited about drilling. It's my favorite way to see value added when I own a company or when I'm participating with a company. And I cannot wait to see what you hit when you start getting these results back. I suspect you and I are going to be chatting frequently, Matt. Anything else to add that maybe I missed out on?
Yeah, I think to highlight the area, we spoke about the grade and the types of deposits, but it's also a very, pro mining jurisdiction.
Yeah.
It's cheap to drill. Our all-in drill cost right now is about $230 a meter Canadian. It's a world-class area to explore, and yeah, we're super happy to be there.
Listen, you have yourself a heck of a story. Let's see if you have a heck of a project. We're going to know soon, and can't wait to have you back on to chat about it. Thank you so much for your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome. Hey everybody, Gerardo Del Real here. If you're enjoying the content that you just saw, you can let us know in 3 simple steps. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please share across your network and on social media. Take care, everybody.